In 1982, America found itself at a crossroads between the echoes of the past and the promises of the future. It was a year marked by economic challenges, cultural shifts, and rapid technological evolution. Yet among all the great events unfolding across the nation, something small yet enduringly significant emerged, a coin that would, for many, go unnoticed in daily life, but for a select few, would one day come to symbolize hidden value and lasting legacy. That coin was the 1982 United States half-dollar, a piece rooted deeply in American tradition yet destined to carve its own unexpected path into the world of rare collectibles. The half-dollar coin, bearing the proud profile of President John F. Kennedy, had been introduced in 1964, less than a year after his tragic assassination. His enduring image, immortalized in silver and later in copper-nickel clad, became a symbol of hope, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of the American people. By 1982, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become an iconic part of American coinage, though its everyday use in commerce had diminished. Still, the minting of the half-dollar continued, mostly to satisfy collectors and ceremonial needs, and among these 1982 issues, a few extraordinary examples quietly slipped into existence. The 1982 half-dollar was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but interestingly, no official mint sets were produced that year. This meant that finding well-preserved examples was immediately more challenging. Coins destined for circulation rarely retain their luster and detail. Most quickly accumulate the scars of everyday transactions, scratches, nicks, and loss of brilliance. As a result, pristine examples of the 1982 half-dollar, particularly those struck with sharp detail and rich original luster, became increasingly rare. It is this rarity, combined with the coin's historical weight, that today fuels its remarkable desirability among serious collectors. Through the years, stories began to circulate within numismatic circles about 1982 half-dollars that had somehow survived the ravages of time in exceptional condition. Coins that maintained their sharp relief, their mirror-like fields, and their satiny frost were being discovered, albeit rarely. The excitement was palpable because collectors realized they were encountering something truly special. As more attention focused on these extraordinary survivors, auction houses began to see remarkable sales results. Today, an impeccably preserved 1982 half-dollar can command values ranging from $55,000 to an astounding $130,000, depending on its condition, its certification, and whether it possessed any striking mint errors. What makes these coins even more fascinating is the underlying challenge they represent. Without official mint sets, most 1982 half-dollars were intended for daily commerce, tossed into pockets and cash drawers across America. The very nature of their intended use meant that survival in mint state condition was almost accidental. Finding one today that escaped circulation altogether, retaining its original sheen and detail, feels almost like uncovering a message in a bottle from another era. Each flawless specimen seems to whisper stories from 1982, the music playing on the radio, the hopes people carried into each new day, the quiet resilience of a nation steadily pushing forward. Among the most sought after are examples struck with unusual precision, displaying full bell lines on the reverse, a detail that numismatists treasure for the craftsmanship it reveals. Additionally, there are known varieties with subtle anomalies in the design or striking process, such as off-center strikes or doubled dies. These varieties, rare on their own, when combined with the high-grade condition, elevate the coin into an elite category of collectibles. Collectors with an eye for detail and a passion for history understand that owning such a coin is about more than value, it is about connection. Connection to a time, to a president, and to the spirit of perseverance that defines the American story. Some of the most thrilling tales involve people discovering these valuable 1982 half-dollars where they least expected them, in forgotten coin rolls, in inherited collections, or tucked away in old dresser drawers. These lucky finds have transformed ordinary days into extraordinary ones, turning a casual hobby into a moment of life-changing realization. Imagine the feeling of flipping through a handful of coins, only to find one that shimmers differently under the light, hinting at its incredible potential. Such moments remind us that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize them. The market for 1982 half-dollars has shown a steady and impressive growth over the years. As more collectors join the search and as the supply of high-grade specimens continues to dwindle, prices have only moved upward. It is a textbook case of supply and demand playing out in real time, fueled by a deeper emotional undercurrent, a reverence for the past, a love of artistry, and a profound appreciation for history encapsulated in metal. For many, investing in a 1982 half dollar is not just a financial decision, it is an act of preservation, ensuring that a tangible piece of 20th century America endures for future generations to marvel at and learn from. The significance of the 1982 half dollar transcends its monetary value. It is a piece of living history, a fragment of a narrative that includes every American who lived through that pivotal year. It embodies a moment when the country, though burdened by challenges, remained optimistic about the future. It symbolizes the resilience of a people and the enduring ideals of leadership, honor, and unity represented by the image of John F. Kennedy. Every rare 1982 half dollar discovered and preserved is another thread woven into the rich tapestry of America's collective memory. As time moves forward and the 1982 half dollar becomes even scarcer, its story will only become more compelling. Future generations will marvel at how a simple, everyday object could grow to symbolize so much and how something as small as a half dollar could capture the spirit of an entire nation in transition. For collectors, historians, and dreamers alike, the 1982 half dollar is not just a coin, it is a relic, a teacher, and a reminder that within the humblest objects, great significance often lies waiting to be found, and so, the search continues. Somewhere out there, perhaps resting quietly in a forgotten bank roll or hidden among a jar of old change, another 1982 half dollar of extraordinary quality awaits its moment in the spotlight. A testament to resilience, a symbol of enduring value, and a beacon of possibility for anyone with the curiosity to look closely enough to find it. In the ever-changing landscape of American coinage, the year 1998 quietly introduced a half-dollar coin that would later capture the attention of collectors in ways few could have anticipated. As the 20th century neared its close, the United States Mint continued producing coins that, while common in daily commerce, carried hidden gems, treasures waiting to be discovered by those who looked just a little closer. Among these, the 1998 Kennedy half dollar stands as a shining example, a piece of history that has grown in mystique and value over time far beyond its modest beginnings. The Kennedy half dollar series had long been a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, a symbol of hope, youth, and the spirit of renewal that characterized America in the early 1960s. By 1998, the design had become deeply familiar to Americans, with its enduring portrait of JFK facing left, hair swept back, eyes forward, reflecting a nation's forward-looking optimism. Yet while the design remained largely unchanged, each year's minting offered subtle differences, variations in strike quality, and occasional minting anomalies that would become the foundation for rare collector finds decades later. The 1998 half-dollar coins were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and a small number were made for special collector sets at the San Francisco Mint, with proof versions gleaming with mirrored fields and frosted designs. However, most of the coins struck that year were intended for circulation, and as public usage of the half dollar continued to decline, many were simply stored away, never seeing the light of day. It was in this quiet obscurity that the seeds of rarity were sown. Unlike coins minted during times of great historical upheaval or commemorative events, the 1998 half dollar came into the world under relatively quiet circumstances. Perhaps it was this lack of immediate fanfare that allowed some incredibly high-quality examples to slip through unnoticed, preserved perfectly by accident rather than intention. It is these high-grade, untouched specimens that today command impressive prices in the collector's market, with exceptional examples selling for anywhere between $45,000 to $120,000, depending on their condition, mint mark, and whether they exhibit rare striking qualities or mint errors. What drives such value for a coin that once jingled in pockets for 50 cents? It comes down to survival, quality, and scarcity. The vast majority of 1998 half dollars entered circulation immediately, subjected to the everyday wear and tear of commerce, scratches, dents, dulling from countless hands and cash registers. Very few were set aside with care, and fewer still survived in a condition that meets the stringent standards of modern grading authorities like PCGS and NGC. A coin graded at the top echelons, such as MS-68 or MS-69, stands out like a beacon, attracting collectors who understand just how unlikely it is to find perfection amidst the chaos of circulation. Adding to the allure are certain quirks unique to the 1998 issues. Some coins display minor double dies, particularly noticeable around the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, or slight variances in strike strength that result in crisp, almost three-dimensional features compared to their softer struck counterparts. Such anomalies, when authenticated, increase desirability significantly, as collectors relish the opportunity to own something both historically significant and materially rare. There is also a deeper emotional pull that the Kennedy half-dollar holds, a connection that goes beyond metal and monetary worth. For many, the coin evokes memories of an America defined by ambition, optimism, and a youthful sense of possibility. The assassination of JFK had been a national trauma, but the continuation of his memory through the half-dollar series served as a quiet, enduring tribute. To hold a pristine 1998 Kennedy half-dollar in one's hand is to grasp not just a piece of currency, but a fragment of a broader American narrative, a tangible reminder of dreams deferred, progress made, and the passage of time. Some of the most fascinating finds of rare 1998 half-dollars have come from surprising places. Stories abound of individuals stumbling upon high-grade examples tucked away in old bank rolls, forgotten safety deposit boxes, or handed down through generations inside dusty coin collections. In a world where the instant and the digital increasingly dominate, the discovery of a rare physical artifact like a pristine half-dollar evokes a powerful nostalgia, a sense of uncovering something authentic and enduring in an otherwise fleeting age. The years have gone by, the supply of untouched, high-grade 1998 half-dollars has only diminished. Coins that might once have graded as nearly flawless have been mishandled or damaged, leaving even fewer perfect survivors. Auction records show a consistent upward trend for these coins, as savvy collectors and investors recognize both their intrinsic beauty and their increasing scarcity. It is no longer simply a matter of luck to find one, it requires determination, knowledge, and often a bit of serendipity. For those who manage to secure one of these coveted pieces, the reward is more than just financial. It is the satisfaction of preserving a slice of American history, of safeguarding a legacy that can be passed down to future generations. A pristine 1998 half-dollar is a testament to the artistry of American minting, the endurance of national memory, and the enduring value that can be hidden in the most ordinary places. Even now, decades after its quiet release into circulation, the 1998 half-dollar continues to captivate and surprise. Each pristine specimen discovered renews the story, adds a new chapter, and fuels the imagination of collectors everywhere. It stands as a shining example of how sometimes, true treasures are not forged through grand gestures or historic headlines, but through the quiet resilience of time, chance, and human care. In a world that often rushes forward without looking back, the 1998 half-dollar invites us to pause, to remember, and to recognize that even in the smallest objects, profound meaning and great value can endure, just waiting for the right hands, and the right heart, to uncover them. The story of the 1979 half-dollar coin is one that quietly unfolds against the backdrop of a changing America. At first glance, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar might seem like just another issue in a long-running series, but for those who look deeper, it reveals a hidden world of significance, rarity, and immense value. As the nation navigated the final years of a turbulent decade marked by political scandal, economic upheaval, and shifting cultural tides, the minting of coins like the 1979 half-dollar continued almost unnoticed by the general public. Yet among those coins, a few extraordinary pieces were created, pieces that, decades later, would rise to command astonishment and admiration in the numismatic world. The Kennedy half-dollar had been introduced in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and from the very beginning, it carried a weight of national mourning and remembrance. By 1979, the design remained familiar, the dignified left-facing profile of JFK, surrounded by inscriptions that spoke of liberty, trust, and the enduring spirit of the Republic. What many didn't realize at the time, however, was that not all 1979 half-dollars were created equal. Variations in minting, quality control, and small changes in design details resulted in coins that, while identical to the casual, differed in ways that would one day mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing treasure. Most of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollars were struck for circulation at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Proof versions were made at the San Francisco Mint, intended for collectors who ordered specially packaged sets. But the coins that have captured the imagination of today's collectors are those rare examples that, whether by flawless production or fortunate preservation, have survived the intervening decades in virtually perfect condition. These coins, graded at the highest levels of mint state or proof perfection, have astonished experts and collectors alike by fetching breathtaking prices at auction. Today, the finest specimens of the 1979 half-dollar can command between $62,000 and $130,000, depending on their grade, mint mark, and unique attributes such as deep cameo contrast or minting errors. The emergence of such staggering values can be traced to several factors. First, the simple passage of time has worked its inexorable magic. Coins intended for everyday use were handled, spent, dropped, and worn down, leaving only a minuscule fraction in pristine condition. Second, 1979 marked a period when the production of the half-dollar had shifted away from wide public use. Demand for half-dollars in commerce was dwindling, meaning fewer people saved them, and even fewer thought to preserve them with the care necessary to maintain their flawless surfaces. Adding to the intrigue are a handful of anomalies found among 1979 half-dollars. Some coins exhibit striking errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet defects, mistakes that slipped past mint inspectors and into the hands of the public. These rare error coins, when authenticated and well-preserved, push values even higher, offering collectors a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a truly unique piece of American history. The feeling of discovering a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with such an anomaly is akin to unearthing buried treasure, an artifact of both art and accident. Beyond errors and condition, there's also an emotional current that runs through the story of the 1979 half-dollar. It is a connection to a broader American narrative, a tangible reminder of the dreams and struggles of a generation that lived through one of the most transformative eras in modern history. Owning a 1979 half-dollar in pristine condition is not merely a financial investment, it's a stewardship of legacy. It means preserving a symbol of resilience, ambition, and the enduring quest for progress that defines the American experience. The stories behind some of the most valuable 1979 half-dollar discoveries are nothing short of magical. In dusty old collections, tucked away in forgotten drawers, or hidden within unsearched bank rolls, these rare gems have surfaced, stunning even seasoned collectors. Sometimes it is the careful eye of an experienced numismatist that brings such a treasure to light, other times, it's sheer luck, a casual discovery that turns an ordinary day into an extraordinary moment. In every case, the discovery rekindles a sense of wonder, proving that even today, in a world dominated by digital transactions and virtual assets, the physical charm of coins retains a special place in the human heart. It's not just about the glint of metal or the precise rendering of a famous face. It's about what the coin represents, a piece of a story, a slice of a moment in time when hope, ambition, and craftsmanship converge to create something enduring. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, especially in its finest forms, continues to inspire awe not merely because of its rarity or monetary worth, but because it invites us to hold history in our hands. Each time a 1979 half-dollar crosses an auction block or is carefully added to a collector's album, it reaffirms the idea that value is not always visible at first glance. True worth often hides in the overlooked, the everyday, the familiar. In the worn jingling coins that many ignored, a few hidden masterpieces waited patiently for their chance to be recognized, cherished, and celebrated. Today, as more and more collectors seek out the rarest and most pristine examples of American coinage, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar stands proudly among the ranks of the most desirable coins. Whether glistening in proof condition with frosted devices and mirror fields, or radiating the sharp, unblemished luster of a high mint state strike, these coins serve as reminders that in the quiet corners of history, great treasures often reside. The journey of the 1979 half-dollar, from an ordinary minting to an extraordinary collectible, teaches us that time has a way of revealing beauty and value that once lay hidden in plain sight, and as long as there are those willing to look, to search, and to dream, the legacy of the 1979 half-dollar, and the magic it represents, will continue to shine, brighter with each passing year.